From. Hello, 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 hello. How are you all doing? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Welcome to Hot Mom Live Conversations. My name is Ediri. I just quickly want to address something tonight. This is one of those unusual hours that recently I started coming online to speak about issues, social issues mostly. I come at this hour because I am prompted to, and unfortunately, my co hosts are not available, especially at this time of the evening. So, yeah, as you can see from the topic, a lot has been happening in among Nigerians, among Nigerian couples living abroad. A lot has been happening to them, between them, around them, and especially this past week, it was a lot. It was a lot. I saw the video of the man who was asked to leave the house by the wife, where the man was saying stuff like he sold his land to send her to study law abroad. Um, he paid about £24,000 to send her to the law school to read law abroad. He said things like, "Oh, he's the one that pays for the rent." I mean, the video is online. A lot of things he said that she also said. He was like, "I pay for this house, and you dare call social workers to come take me out." And then at the end of the video, he was like, he was advising men not to bring their wives abroad, that would be the worst mistake of their lives if they should bring their wives abroad. That women, opportunity, once you give them opportunity, once they have little power, they begin to show themselves, something in that direction. And the woman, she was also firing back, saying things like, "Oh, didn't I have children for you? You bought you only was able to sell land. Is that what your mates do?" You know, I don't want to. And then, okay, she also said, "Oh, now I know better about mental issues. Now I know what mental illness is. The shame saying a land you they sell. Pack your things and leave the house." So I just jot them down. I'm trying to read from where I jot them down. The way she was, screaming at him and everything. Hmm. That's just one video. There was another one where the man, the lady was screaming at the man, telling him, um, "You go to work, I go to work. When we come back, you still expect me to do the cooking, to do the take care of the house and everything." Even this first video, also, she says something like that the both of us will go to work, come back, and then you expect me to still be cooking and there's a lot. There's a lot. And then I think just yesterday there was another video of a man. a Nigerian man again too that beat up his wife abroad after beating her up. She called the police on him, and then she also called the home office to remove him from the COS. Yeah, I think that's it. So I think he came in through her, so she had to remove his name from it. And when she did that, he decided to snitch on her and went ahead to report her that she used a fake ILTS, that she came with a fake document. And at the end of the day, the two of them were deported back to Nigeria. So, this is my take on all these stories. There is no marriage that is 100% problem free. Everyone has got their own kind of issues that they're dealing with. For these people, it's not to judge them or anything, but just to use the scenario to try and understand the situation better so that others will not make this kind of mistake. In fact, the rate at which this thing happened this week, it was too much. It was too much to the point that I was beginning to think like, hmm, I hope it will not get to the point where it's going to affect our reputation as Nigerians abroad amongst other nationalities. That, oh, Nigerian women, this is how they do, this is how they maltreat their husbands, or Nigerian men, this is what they do, or this is how they maltreat their wives. I hope it will not stick on us at the end of the day as a reputation, because this week it was too much. And then, of course, there was also the story of um, the millionaire, billionaire woman that's separated from her husband. There was just a lot happening. And you know what? There's this saying that when you focus on something, whatever it is you focus on gets emphasized, you know. So the way these stories have been happening back to back, a lot of people who already have shaky marriages, who, if not for these things, would have been able to like calm down and sort their issues. They may want to begin to capitalize on things like this and say, oh, okay, this person did it and got away with it. So I think this is what I'm going to do as well. You know the human mind, you know the way it works. And then for people who are not yet into not yet in relationships, they might also be thinking in their own way, whatever it is they are thinking, and taking away from this whole scenario that has been happening. I think that there's too much of negativity on marriages. Marriage is difficult. Marriage is hard. Marriage is hard. I can tell you that marriage is hard. But the fact that we keep emphasizing on the negativity, the negative side of marriages, the way it's too much. It's too much. I think I would personally recommend that if you're out there and you're doing good, your marriage is doing good, please come and share with us. Come and share with the public. It's not only when things go bad that it should be shared. I think people, well, maybe if you're enjoying your marriage, you might want to protect it and all that. But people need to also learn from you. People need to learn from you and see how you were able to manage your relationship to the point where you are now. People will take away one or two things, you know, to help them do better in their own situation. Instead of this negativity that is so intense. In fact, it's so palpable in the Nigerian abroad marriage married couples. It's too much. It's too much and it's kind of scary. So yeah, that's one on one side. On one hand, um, I was beginning to think that our social organizations should particularly look into this thing, especially the fact that if it gets so bad, it's going to affect our reputation, as a country, as a people. It's definitely going to be that way. So our social organizations, maybe some agencies back home can. What I'm thinking in my head is the people that maybe the agents that give out these visas, the agents that give out visas, that issue visas, can can prep, can also have another section of their program where they prep this couple before they travel abroad. There's a saying that if you go to Rome, you behave like Romans. We know that the typical Nigerian husband um, is like kind of they have a lot of ego. Yes, that's the word. The typical Nigerian husband has so much ego, and that is what is playing out, and that is what also played out in these stories that I narrated. So when you go to Rome, you behave like Roman, in the sense that if you leave Nigeria, once you leave Nigeria, but before you leave, these companies, these agencies, these social organizations should be able to prep these people that are about to leave, that when you get there, your ego, some of the things you used to do here, by the time you get there, tone down on them. Because I think most of them just once they have the opportunity to travel, they just travel. They don't even do their research to know what the culture of the country they are going to is all about. In the West, women are protected, highly, highly protected. You cannot just maltreat a woman and think you go free, you know. So that's on one hand. So I was thinking that okay, maybe these organizations can even create flyers and keep them at the airport, visibly everywhere, so that they can pick them like visuals, so that they can pick them. Even like billboards, things like that. It's getting to that point where they have to do things like that, so that as they are going to the airport, they know that if you once you cross this place, you don't have to treat your woman this way. Woman, you don't have to do this to your man. So that you know how to manage your home and manage the family when you get there. Another thing also is I feel that there's no issue that cannot be handled if you put aside your anger, you put aside your ego, you put aside self and all that. There's no issue that cannot be handled and cannot be addressed. For the women, I feel like Um, I don't know what they did. The first two stories, I don't know what they did, but the way they were speaking to those men, like it was really denigrating. Yes, in my opinion. And it's only a woman who has lost total interest in a man that speaks to a man that way. So, yeah, if for some of the ladies, I think that already they had they were no longer emotionally in those relationships. So maybe even at the point where the man was preparing them to come abroad, they were just wishing, oh, let's let this thing even happen quickly. Let me go to this abroad and let me find my way. We've heard those kind of stories as well. So, and then when they got here, little thing. What is there in having a conversation? It's all about conversation. What's there in having a conversation with the person you call your wife or your husband? You go to work, the both of you go to work, come back. The husband wants the wife to go into the kitchen to go and cook, to go and prepare the children, to go and, that is the time to have a decent conversation. And I don't think that if the conversation is handled properly, that there will be no way forward. There will always be a way forward. If two of you talk about it and there's no headway, there's always the option of involving family or friends. So that even brings me to another point that I think I skipped. Before Ona leave home, I think there should be also family meeting. I know that they usually have some people have family meetings before they go on these kind of journeys, but the family meeting I'm talking about is to address the man, especially those men that don't help their wives back home. Because back home you have house help, you have relatives that will help you with the children, that will help you with the wife, that will help you to go to market. There's always that option of people are being around. But abroad, you can't afford a nanny, especially as somebody who is just moving in. You can't afford a nanny. Why do you want to incur that cost? You know? So my point is this conversation should really be had, and so that the men can come to that place of willing to assist, because it's just natural. That's the way they were raised back home, not to do certain things around the house, and for a grown man to now change that, it's not easy. So it's only a conversation that can bring him to that point. So it's only if the woman has already made up her mind and said, okay, as I'm going to this abroad, if it doesn't change, I'm going to move out. That's when things can just quickly blow out of proportion. Otherwise, it's something that can still be managed. You have your conversations back home and come to an agreement. He's a human being. He will understand. He's a human being. And some people, once their anger level has arisen, to bring it back down, it's not easy. I think that is what happened to the third story of where the man, a husband, beat his wife. You know that it's a problem abroad. Abi, are you going to tell me that this man didn't know that to beat a woman abroad is a problem? You beat your wife. That's number one. She reported you. Then you went back and whatever it was you people did behind the scene brought everything out. That she did he came in with a fake document. You were also an accomplice at the end of the day, because it was that document that also enabled your entry into the country in the first place. So, well, at the end of the day, they were both deported. So these things are things that could have been handled better. They could have been handled better. So yeah, this is all I came to talk about tonight. This is all I came to talk about tonight. I think it's been so rampant. The stories were becoming too much, and I think people should just activate. Even if you don't have patience in you, try and look for where they have patience before you go abroad with your family, with your wife, and have it at the back of your mind that you will help her around the house. If you cannot wash plate, if you cannot wash clothes, well, most of the houses have washing machine. If you cannot do the dishes, some houses have a washing dishwashers, But like preparing the children for school, going to work, over there you work and work and work. You work for hours. You work overtime. Some even have two shifts that they work, double shifts. And then you come back home and you still expect that because it's a thing for a woman to cook back home, she has to still enter the kitchen after coming back from. It's just so insensitive. It's very, very insensitive. And if it's petty things like this that are causing husband and wife, really couples to fight and lose their marriage, lose all that they had built over the years, it's just a shame. In one of the instances, the child was even there. The man ordered the child to record what was going on between him and the wife. It also tells you the level of reasoning, the intellectual level of those kind of people. I'm not putting anybody down, but why would you give a camera to your child to record you and your wife having issues? All those things, they are uncalled for. They are uncalled for. So yeah, I think I've said everything I need to say. Yeah, I think that's it. I don't know if anybody has any comments you want to call. I see Gabriella. I don't know if she's still here. I see Gabriella. I see Sini's makeup studio. Are you still here? If you want to join me and give your opinion on the issue I just discussed, you are welcome. You are welcome. Been a crazy week. Mm. So yeah, my recommendations remain that more of good marriages, people who are in good marriages should come and be speaking, come out and be talking about the beauty of your marriage, because we've been hearing too much of wahala in marriages. I'm sure there are a lot more, I believe so, that there are a lot more beautiful, good marriages out there, tolerant, tol- how do you speak the English again? Couples who tolerate one another, there are a lot of them out there, a lot more of them out there than the negativity we've been seeing. I honestly believe so. And so, guys, if you are in one of those beautiful marriages, please come and share so that people will learn, so that we'll all learn. We all learn every day. That's one recommendation. Second recommendation, our social organizations back home, the agencies, and the ones that issue the visas should create another arm. I mean, do something to help your nation. Create flyers, keep at the airport, create visuals around so that when these people are traveling, these things are in our faces. so that we see them as a reminder. Or maybe this bulk SMS. The government should do something, because at the end of the day, if this becomes a reputation, it's a bad reputation on our country as a whole, not just on the individuals, and it will leave a bad taste, you know. So yeah, so that's where I will end it for tonight. I see some people trying to join me on TikTok, but I don't want to bring anybody on TikTok. I want to bring, let me see. Okay, I think that's where I will end it for tonight. So, guys, I'll see you again during the week, I guess. I hope I have something more encouraging, more interesting to come and talk about instead of sad and depressing stories like this. So yeah, take care everyone until I come your way again during the week.